So, as the title of this video is, it's basically about how my mom and dad passing led me to not caring about what others think of me, or I was able to do more in life that way. And it's very odd, losing both your parents in your 20s, and it's kind of like, oh man, they have been your rock for a long time. And, I spent the last 5 years of my life, taking care of my dad before he passed away of cancer. And then my mom had a lot of struggles, and then mom had cancer, and I was taking care of her. And trust me, I absolutely do not regret taking care of them. It was the biggest blessing of my life. I would not change any minute of it. I loved being there for my parents. And frankly, I don't care what anyone says. I know I had a lot of relatives and friends that are like, oh, you still gotta live your life and do your own thing and not always worry about your mom and dad. I'm like, yeah, no, they've been my mom and dad for a long time. I'm going to take care of them because I want to, and they've always been there for me. But, during that time, even before my parents passed, I always used to be a people pleaser, or like a court jester in a sense. I've always been like the class clown. I've always wanted to make people laugh and be that kind of guy. And for a reason is, it's just, I'm just trying to people please. I was always good at fitting in whatever crowd I was with, or whoever I was with. I could easily blend in with any group. At one point I was like, man, I'd make a really good spy, just because I was never really myself around others. I always blended in to fit in, and it led to a lot of, sure, friendships and a lot of life experiences, but it never led to a lot of genuine friendships, minus a couple of really good old best friends in my life. And, now that I'm a Christian and, gave my life to Christ, which, will be a video for another day, I have two really good friends in my old city who are like brothers to me. And, a couple good friends in the town I'm in now. But a lot of my relationships have been based off, people pleasing, trying to make people happy, trying to be the good guy, the guy that really never has an opinion because, I might offend someone, and blah, blah, blah. You know where this is going. And then I was taking care of my mom and dad. I was facing a lot of pressure from my jobs and people, especially my jobs. They're like, you can't be taking all this time off. I had, one good job, actually two, who were really sympathetic and great, especially with my mom. But I had a couple of other jobs who were just like, they did not give a shit. And I left those jobs. I quit. It was for the best. Family comes first, and I'd rather take care of them and be with them. But, I lived a lot of my life people pleasing. And after my mom and dad passed, it led me to a new path where it's like, okay, I can live my life trying to please people, trying to make other people happy, or I can just do my own thing now, go work on what I always wanted to work on the skills I always wanted to do the things I always wanted to do. And I had an epiphany with God, if that's even the right word, where, I think it was now or never. I saved up a lot of money. I've done really well in investments that, I'm in a place in my life where reality is I don't need to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. And I get it. I get how my life is going to be different from yours. I'm not telling you how to live your own life, but I had this option of, what, money's good. I'm going to take time off from work. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to start working on skills that I've always wanted to work on, especially go spend time with other friends, form genuine relationships, cut off the people pleasing, that kind of all ended. And I'm learning as I go. But it's been great. And, I've had a lot of pressure from especially family where they're like, oh, what are you doing? You can't quit your job. You can't, do this or do that. Employers aren't going to like if there's a big gap in your resume and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, after seeing my mom and dad pass away so young, the Bible's true when it says, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. None of us are. So why am I worrying so much about what others are going to think of me? They are not in charge of my life. What good is money? What good is the things we have if we never use them? You know what I mean? It's like you have a nice car, but you always keep it in the garage for the rest of your life. And then one day you pass away and you never get a chance to drive it. What a waste. So, no, I took the time off. I decided to go do what I wanted to do, go get good at, shooting guns, relax, get back into working out and getting healthy again, taking care of my mental health. Finally learning a new language I've always wanted to learn for a while. It's hard, but it's worth it. And just doing my own thing, creating YouTube. I mean, look at this video. There's really no editing whatsoever. I just kind of film myself playing Arc Raiders, which I just play casually. I'm not a pro, so if you guys have tips, then by all means tell me. And just press play. Just do it. Stop wasting time. Stop caring what other people think of you, right? If you keep letting, what people think of you, or you're trying to people please, or, trying to live up to other people's expectations, because it says, comparison is the thief of joy. You're never going to be able to do the things you've always wanted to do in life. And I mean, don't be reckless and stupid or make your loved ones worry. Like, I'm going to, I don't know, like, going to go throw myself in a pit of fire. I don't know why I said that. But my point is, if you want to go be like a race car driver or go race on the track or something, go do it. It's worth it. Even if you try it and it doesn't end up going anywhere, at least you tried it. At least you did it. You know what I mean? And speaking of track driving, that's one thing I want to do is get into racing. I've always loved cars since I was a kid. My dad really got me into it. I could just never really afford it. I mean, let's face it, cars are expensive, parts are expensive, racing's expensive. And now that I'm in a position to go do this, I'm like, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go buy some cars. I'm going to go build some cars. I'm going to go race some cars. And you know what? If I crash, I crash. At least I'm doing it. At least I'm trying it. At least I'm actually living what I want to do, right? I don't want to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. Frankly, it's bullshit. I mean, I respect people who do it. I've done it. But man, there's so much more than just working a 9 to 5 and retiring. Like I said, I'm a Christian. I gave my life to the Lord 5 years ago, and my life, obviously, I live for the Lord now, which is a freedom in of itself. Not to sin and be an asshole or whatever, but it's a totally different kind of freedom. But yeah, I live my life for God now. I don't want to live my life for other people. I mean, sure, I still want to be kind and loving to people, but I want it to be genuine. I want to form genuine friendships now, genuine things in life. I want to be able to go try the things I've always been too scared to try because people said don't do it or don't try it or, like I said, you shouldn't quit your job and blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not guaranteed tomorrow. I'm going to go do those things. It could end up going somewhere. It could end up not going somewhere. And either way, that's okay. At least I tried, right? I find people are very draining. People are extremely draining. That's why you got to be around the right people, because you don't want people using you. You don't want people abusing you. And you don't want to be wasting your energy and time on people that reality is don't care. I've a lot of friendships and relationships I've had in my life where I've always been putting the effort in. I've always been doing this, always checking in on people, and they never do the same. And I'm just like, come on. It's like doing CPR on a dead horse. Probably just going off on a weird rant right now. And then I've learned, you know what? Let it go. If those people really want to stay in contact with you, they'll put an effort in as well, right? The people who do message you, who do check in on you, who do want to hang out with you, who do want to be in an actual relationship with you, both romantically or, friendship, be with those people who genuinely love you and want to be with you. Stop chasing people. Stop chasing popularity. Stop chasing this world. Stop chasing people's approval. I promise you, you're going to wake up and have like so much more freedom and a weight off your back when you say, you know what? I'm done pleasing people. I'm done living for this world. I hope you live for God, guys. And if you don't, message me. happy to talk about the Lord with you. Like I said, there'll probably be another video. But there's so much freedom in just not living for people anymore. And who cares what people say? Like, there's always going to be people who are like, oh, you shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that. Or, oh, Nathan's, he's ruining his career by taking time off to care about his health and mental health and work on the things he wants to work on. It's, who cares? Do it. Like, that famous Shia LaBeouf meme where it's like, just do it. We always used to meme and clown upon that meme, but he had a point. It's like, stop wasting time and just go do those things you want to do. I don't want you guys or myself waking up one day and we're on our deathbed and we're full of regrets on the things we never did, or, we lived our whole life trying to please other people. It's like getting married to someone who doesn't love you. Yeah, great, you're married, but that person doesn't love you. Or being with friends who don't care about you, where you're just a side character. And I used to be a side character in a group, and I left that group, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. But I want to tell you guys something too with not pleasing people or not trying to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Be a court jester, I guess. You might lose some friends, and that's okay. But you know what? You're going to form actual friendships, real people in your life, people who want to be with you, and that's even better. As you can see, I kind of ran out of gameplay video here, but oh well. Anyway, guys, hope you liked the video. Take care.